Today we're not talking about the usual wolf pack. We're talking about the one who ends up alone. Some wolves get driven out by their own kind. No support, no alpha, no coordinated hunt. Yesterday, he walked safely in the middle of the formation. Today, he drags himself across the hard snow alone, hungry, angry, with every step draining the last of his strength. These loners live a different life entirely. They can't afford mistakes. There is no one to finish the kill, no one to guard their back. In winter, that's almost a death sentence. But it's exactly these wolves that often come closest to villages, to dogs, to livestock, to human yards. In this video, we'll break down why a wolf can be expelled from his pack, how he survives the cold alone, what he has to hunt, and why running into such a loner can be far more dangerous than meeting the entire pack. Winter packs move like a tight fist. Every wolf has a place. The alpha up front, an experienced female beside him, trusted fighters along the flanks, and older wolves guarding the rear where the younger ones run. When everything works, prey goes down, and the pack walks away full and confident. But inside this quiet order, there is another life hidden under the surface: rivalry, caution, constant testing for weakness. Sometimes that order breaks. A young male grows bigger, reaches for the alpha S position, glances too boldly, growls when pushed aside. The older males sense he wants to rise. They tolerate him a few times, force him back a few times, until the night comes when the pack no longer wants to share its power. Under the muffled snow and the rising howl begins a short and brutal conversation in the only language wolves know. Snarls, teeth, shoulder blows, a sudden strike. By dawn, the snow is torn up, bits of fur are scattered, and one lonely set of tracks breaks away from the pack's usual trail. That messed the path of the outcast. They didn't finish him off. They didn't tear him apart. They simply drove him out. From that moment on, he's no longer and that I now must be his own pack, and his own enemy. He leaves without looking back, but not because he wants to. He has no shared hunts, no right to approach a carcass first, no backs shielding him from hooves. Where yesterday he walked in the center, hearing the breath of his kin, today he steps across empty snow into someone else's silence. Every step takes him farther from the old trails, from familiar places, from the scent of the pack he belonged to. A hunter can read everything from these tracks. The loner moves unevenly, speeds up, circles ravines, pauses at every tiny mouse hole. He listens to the wind differently than the pack. He can risk what a pack can risk. And already on the first day of his new life, one thing becomes clear. Ahead lies either a brutal winter or a desperate push toward where new scents appear. Humans, warmth, easy food. The first days after exile are the hardest. Yesterday, he had his own. Today, only snow, forest, and hunger. Out of habit, he still looks back, as if expecting the pack to call him. But there's only wind behind him. He doesn't howl. A howl would give him away. There's almost nothing to eat. A lone wolf can chase big game for long. He no longer risks attacking moose or a strong boar. He takes what is weakest. Carrion, mice under the snow, an unwary hare, old bones left behind by the pack. Every scrap of meat costs him strength and caution. And during these days, something clicks in his head. He gets used to life without others at his back. He grows more suspicious, more aggressive, more attentive to every sound. And the longer he walks alone, the more he drifts toward new smells villages, dogs, garbage, smoke. There is always a chance to grab a piece there, even if it comes at a price. A pack doesn't exile someone for nothing. Usually the outcast is the one who disrupts the inner order. A young male can challenge too early, snatch prey from elders, shoulder them away from the kill. A few times it is forgiven. Then patience runs out. Wolves don't tolerate those who break formation. Sometimes the weak are driven out. Illness, a wound, a cracked rib from a hoof, old buckshot under the hide. Such a wolf slows the pack, ruins the chase. They tolerate him for a while, but eventually every mistake costs them hunger. Then comes the verdict without the final bite. They push him away, deny him meat, keep him at the edge. Survival becomes impossible inside the pack, and so he leaves. Sometimes exile comes quietly. A wolf no longer fits. Too nervous, bites his own, bothers the pups, disrupts coordinated hunts with unnecessary lunges. After a few failures, the pack greets him with growls, gives him no place, avoids him. He understands. One night decides everything. He slips away into the dark while the pack continues its path without looking back. Nights of the loner turn into short bursts of movement. He doesn't move in straight lines like the pack. He winds and circles, checks an old haystack, hunts for mice, drops into a hollow where the smell of rot lingers. Every sign of food he wrings dry. The pack can ignore small animals. The loner can tee. Every rustle matters. Hunting changes completely. No more long chases. Only sudden ambushes from the brush, from the ditch, from the dark spruce. Moose are nearly forbidden now. One wrong move, a hoof breaks ribs, and no one is there to finish the kill or save him. So he hunts hare, birds, sometimes trails a fox, hoping to steal or catch. Sometimes hunger pushes him toward larger prey, a limping boar, a weak deer. But each of these hunts becomes a one-chance game. Either he bites and escapes, or he dies. With every failed attempt, he shifts more toward what's easier carrion, leftovers abandoned by other predators, garbage and the scent of people ahead. The longer he walks alone, the more his routes change. He approaches the boundary of human life. At first, accidentally stepping on an old road, then crossing a forester-esque ski track, then lingering where the snow smells of diesel and smoke. These scents alarm the pack. To the loner, they promise food. At night, he circles the edges of villages. He doesn't rush. He studies, listens to which dogs bark nervously, which barely react, notes which houses stay lit late, and which yards remain dark. Scents tell him everything. Where animals are butchered, where scraps are dumped, where carrion lies under the snow. Gradually, his fear of human smell fades. Hunger presses harder. What the pack avoids, the loner views as opportunity. He eats scraps under fences, searches trash piles, approaches places where dead calves or sheep are thrown. The exile becomes the wolf that comes closest to human life. The same problem wolf villagers later whisper about when a dog disappears or a pen is torn open. Hunters quickly realize when a loner arrives. His tracks don't run parallel to others. He never walks straight. He circles barns, haystacks, ravines. Where the pack would pass steadily, the loner stops, loops, thinks. His tracks show hesitation, decisions, doubts he is mapping the land. At night, he tests reactions, approaches dog yards, waits in the shadows, remembers which sounds trigger lights in houses and which go ignored. One wrong approach teaches him deeply next time he'll circle wider and visit a quieter yard. For people, it is just prints in the snow. For the loner, it's a mental map. Quiet yards, trash piles, gaps in fences, weak dogs. Every circle makes him bolder and more precise. Sometimes the loner tries returning to his old pack. But wolves don't accept exiles back. He may follow their tracks, listen to their distant howls, but won't approach. If he does, he hears growls, sees raised hackles. To them, he is a stranger now. He might try joining another pack. That's even harsher. Strangers are attacked instantly. If he's lucky, he escapes with deep cuts. After a few such attempts, he learns a simple rule: trust no one. This is when he changes completely. He stops being a wolf from the pack. He becomes an animal with his own rules. No formation, no waiting for the alpha, no sharing of meat. If there's food, he takes it. If there's an opening near a human yard, he may strike earlier than any pack wolf would dare. He often looks emaciated, but his movements gain a sharpness. No reserves, no safety buffer. Every night is a small war for survival. And the farther he walks this road, the less chance he'll ever join a pack again. His path becomes a narrow line between hunger, humans, and other wolves. People fear a whole pack, but a loner can be more dangerous. He has no energy to waste, no den to retreat to. If he approaches humans, he is already desperate. He studies ranger tracks, memorizes motor sounds, recognizes the smell of gun oil and tobacco. Sometimes their paths nearly cross. The ranger sees fresh prints, still crisp from minutes ago. Somewhere ahead, the wolf stands still, listening to the same forest. He won to charge, he's not insane, but he won to flee far either. He simply shifts into the shadows and lets the human pass. The worst part is that loners don to behave predictably. Packs follow patterns. Loner wolves don too. They may visit a village at midnight or at dawn, disappear for weeks, then circle every yard in one night. The longer he lives near people, the more stories locals tell, even if no one has seen him. First a missing old dog, then a broken pen, then tracks and blood at the edge of the forest. Whispers begin. There's a wicked wolf around who fears neither dogs nor lights. The ranger works both worlds. He sees that the wolf avoids strong yards and returns again and again to weak spots, old dumps, abandoned sheds, loose fences. People rely on chance. Wolves don tea. They take what's easiest. Over time, the wolf builds habits. He marks not only with scent, but with patterns. Tonight he takes a bone from the dump. Tomorrow checks a quiet yard. The next day approaches a pen. Each silent success he records as safe. Bit by bit, the edge of the village becomes his hunting ground. Sometimes the story ends fast. One mistake, one approach too close, one shot from a waiting hunter, and the tracks end near a ditch. People breathe easier. Dogs sleep calmly again. Winter returns to normal. But sometimes it ends differently. The wolf survives the worst cold, moves deeper into new forests, hunts small game, avoids people. He grows older, wiser, harder to trap. But age takes its toll. One day he wants to dodge a hoof or avoid a bullet. One winter will be his last. In the ranger's memory, such wolves remain as unfinished stories. One day he reads their life on snow like a book. Next day, nothing. Only silence. No blood, no body, no clear end. Just vanished. A tuft of fur, a broken tooth, faint trails, and the memory of a wolf who walked against the entire system, living by his own rules. And the lesson is simple. Packs live by forest law and avoid humans. Real problems begin when the lone outcast appears the one who owes nothing to anyone. He doesn't fear approaching light, doesn't care about barking dogs, and doesn't treat a human yard as forbidden. If you live near the forest, remember, it's not the fairy tales that matter, but these real stories. One wolf driven out by his own kind can change the life of a whole village, make people strengthen pens, close gates, and look deeper into the dark behind their gardens. The forest is always near, and its outcasts too. The question is how well you read the tracks around you and what kind of wolf walks at the far end of your village road.